Things in Bakhmut seem to be looking worse and worse by the day. Just how much longer can Ukraine hold out? We are going to answer that question right now, hopefully. I'm Paul, U.S. Army combat veteran. It's April 8th, 2023. This is your daily Ukraine update. Let's get into it. Okay, first, let's take a look at the control map. And as you guys can see in Bakhmut, this is where the biggest changes have been happening. And we could see that Russia has continued to advance on a number of fronts. First, you can see in the south here, advancing towards this rail line. You can also see somewhat on the northern part. They look like they are trying to use this rail line as probably their demarcation, where they're trying to establish a new defensive line, right? Push the Ukrainians out. This sort of runs right through, I'd say, really this separates probably the city center from the western outskirts. So if Russia can peel the Ukrainians from this, it will mark them controlling the center of Bakhmut in its entirety. What's most interesting to me is, again, that these changes are the only ones in the Bakhmut area, right? Russia seems to have given up its efforts to encircle Bakhmut and has focused entirely on block by block peeling Ukrainian forces off. When we zoom out, of course, there's no other real substantive changes to the front lines. You can see a very minor adjustment here. Just literally, maybe 500 meters of low value terrain, but does reflect Russia's continued efforts to actually conduct this pincer maneuver in Avdiivka, where you can see that they're making no effort at all to take urban Avdiivka, and are instead relying entirely on this pincer formation. When we look at the combat map, you guys can see that Russia, again, a more limited number of attacks, but again, they seem to be somewhat more effective in their efforts. 60 total attacks. They're reporting one in the northern and one in the southern prong of Bakhmut, as well as an attack here in the center. But you can see, again, this rail line is probably the demarcation of where Russia aspires to push its forces in the short term. And you can see, again, focusing on Avdiivka, not engaging the urban core at all, focusing entirely on this pincer movement. Other than that, I suspect, and a lot of analysts are suspecting, that Russia's reduced combat output reflects the fact that they are conducting defense in depth. They're preparing defenses in likely axes where they think Ukrainian forces will launch their counteroffensive. And the leaked documents, if they were true, or if Russia treated them as true, it would explain why Russia ran combat operations up to April, because that timetable that leaked only went up to April at all. So it meant that the Russians were confident, or could be confident, that there would be no Ukrainian counteroffensive up until at least this week. And that's exactly where you've seen offensively they pushed very hard, and now they are transitioning to the defense in preparation for a likely Ukrainian counteroffensive. And as you guys can see, as I've talked about, waiting they would have been more effective to launch a counterattack, the counteroffensive, with what they had 2 weeks ago, when Russian forces were fully committed to Donetsk, to Bakhmut and Avdiivka. Now Russia is going to be on standby. They're going to be prepared for an attack. Will they be able to adequately prepare? It's not clear. But if you can get the element of surprise, you should try to use it. But again, it's easy to armchair quarterback, and of course, to retrospectively say what you think should have been done in this conflict. Now we know, of course, that hopefully Ukrainian forces are growing ever more ready and will launch their counterattack at some point. Anyway, guys, that is all I had, except for, of course, as always, please check out combatvetnews.com. You guys know the old Patreon decided they don't like my war content, so I launched my own site. Combatvetnews.com has all the latest news on Ukraine. It also has every single one of my YouTube videos for free on there. In fact, maybe you're watching this on there. In that case, thank you. And just like the Patreon, we have members only content where we are checking out the leaked combat videos from all sorts of GoPro footage, drone footage, all the kind of stuff that I can't show you. We have the video that dropped yesterday, which is an absolutely brutal demonstration of Ukrainians using armor to clear and ultimately destroy Russian trench formations. It's kind of wild. It truly shows how armor can be used as the tip of a spear in an assault, where it literally assaults a trench, and then Ukrainian light or mech infantry come in and secure the area. It's just wild to see. And that's on the members only channel. You should definitely become a member, support what I do. And I will see you guys in the next one.